I want to come back to Deebo because I've been thinking about him a lot.
All right.
You were chatting a few days ago with one of your, on the Cohn phone, and you said that Deebo has leverage because he has to fulfill certain minimum requirements. Let's just leave some of them out, but he would have to play 6 games. And then you're saying he might consciously say he had an injury, shut himself down, and screw the Niners, and he could go somewhere else the next year.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
I admit that I haven't been in a locker room in 5 years because I've been retired. But I certainly know how football locker rooms work or used to work.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm dating myself.
Sure.
When the Niners were a really great team, if someone absented himself and wouldn't play, there would be hell to pay in the locker room. He would be perceived as a quitter because a football team is different than, let's say, a baseball team.
Mm-hmm.
You're an army. You're
Mm-hmm.
like an army, and you need everyone to do his part.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you that if someone was perceived as a malingerer, Ronnie Lott would have called out his ass, or Russ Francis would have called him out. There would have been discipline in the locker room. They, even though they might have had sympathy for him with his contract, they would no longer have sympathy if he was a malingerer. And I'm saying if he does that stuff this coming season, there's going to be hell to pay for him in that locker room. And it would be a big mistake.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Let me try to bring it from a different perspective. I think it's a generational thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, last year, Deshaun Watson requested a trade, kind of like how Deebo Samuel has requested a trade. Then all those lawsuits came out. He didn't play for an entire year. It wasn't his choice. Didn't play for an entire year. He didn't get indicted. He didn't have to go to criminal court. Got traded. Got a fully guaranteed contract worth $230 million. So it didn't hurt him. And I think players are looking at him like, well, damn, if Deshaun Watson can do it, even with those lawsuits over his head, then why can't I? I mean, if they do it in the NBA, if you can do it in the MLB, when? I mean, we always knew that the NFL, the players union in the NFL is really not strong. It's getting stronger. They're getting more power. And I think this is eventually going to happen more and more. Now, we'll see. It's a test case. If Deebo Samuel holds out, like plays 6 games and shuts himself down, will teams look at him as like, I don't want to pay that guy anymore? See, I don't think so. If Deshaun Watson can get the money, I think teams will look at Deebo and say, well, he's only 27. He didn't play last year. I'll pay him. I think it just takes one team. I think there'd be multiple teams that would pay him. Maybe I'm wrong. And if he does that, it really hurts the 49ers. I mean, the Niners are essentially calling his bluff. You won't do that, Deebo. You have to play. You want your value to be the highest. If he does it and says, I can live with the results, can the Niners live with the results? How good are they without Deebo? I think it's scary.
Hold on.
Yes.
I don't agree with the comparison you're making to Deshaun Watson.
Why?
Because Deshaun Watson did not shut himself down.
Okay.
The league shut him down. Okay. So it's not a fair comparison.
Okay.
So I respectfully throw that out.
Okay.
I don't count it. Again, I'm not talking about whether a team would take him in 2023, Deebo Samuel. I'm talking about the 2022 season in that locker room. My experience in a football locker room is they will make his life miserable.
What are they going to do? Haze him?
Okay. Ignore him. These are his teammates. Ignore him. Have horrible things to say to him to his face. Make his life a living hell. That's what I think would happen. Now, maybe not with modern athletes, or I should say current athletes. Teams that I covered, you think Ronnie Lott was going to sit around there and say, oh, you have a beef and you're pretending, I think you're pretending you have an injury, but God love you. Ronnie Lott, who had his finger cut off so he could continue to play? No. I think a football locker room is different from an NBA locker room. I think it's an army. And I think Deebo Samuel, if he does it, will regret it for the rest of his life.
But
and
Dad, he doesn't want to be in this army. He doesn't want to play for this team. What does he care? George Kittle says to him in the locker room.
Okay.
I'm just saying it from his perspective. He literally doesn't want to play for this team anymore. Has made it public. Okay, so if his, I think he's already burned the bridge. I think he's saying, I don't care what any player on this team thinks of me. Am I wrong? Why would you request the trade if you didn't feel that way?
Yeah, you may be right. It's not entirely clear to me. Again, I'm not inside. Maddie Mayoko, I saw you said he wrote that it's personal. Maddie has not, I don't know what the deal is. I haven't read it, and Maddie hasn't mentioned it to me. I still think he and his agent may be trying to leverage the Niners to get a better deal. And he may be just as happy to play for the Niners as the Jets or anyone else. He'd be nuts not to want to play for the Niners, a team that is a very good team. I'm not so sure he doesn't want to play for them. If this is a negotiating tactic and he shuts himself down, I think he's going to have a hard life next season. And you're saying that teams would actually want him after he showed himself to be a malingerer?
Yes.
Okay, I can't argue with that.
Is he a malingerer, or does he just not want to play for the 49ers? Because what the Niners are basically saying is, we can't get Deebo on the phone. He won't return our phone calls. He won't negotiate with us. We don't know why. We don't know what his issue is. He hasn't made it clear. All we know is that he doesn't want to play for us anymore.
Okay, so let's say I'm the Jets. I hate when people say I'm the Jets.
I'm the Jets, right?
I'll never be the Jets.
Yes.
Let's imagine the Jets. And we know they wanted him. Then he pulls a malingering thing. I think the general manager over there should say, he could do the same thing to us.
He could.
Although
maybe he won't.
He could do it again.
It's possible. And I think it would turn off some teams. I'm just predicting. I'm not saying how teams should react. I'm guessing there would be a team that would be willing to pay Deebo.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I mean, if a team was willing to pay Deshaun Watson with all that stuff going over, I mean, he's a quarterback, true, but still, Deebo's an MVP candidate. He's really, really, really good. I think a team would be willing to pay him. Maybe not as much as if he played the entire season like a good soldier and just bit his lip and did what he was told, but I still think he'd make a lot of money. And I know the Niners are thinking they're going to call his bluff on this one and say, in your own interest, you're going to play. If they're wrong, they really hurt themselves this year. That's all I'm saying.
Agree. I want to say I'm on the side of the 49ers. Okay. If what you're surmising, and we have no idea what he's going to do, but if he pulls a fast one and says, gee, I hurt my hammy, or I can't, if he does that, the hell with him. I'm with the 49ers, and I would lose total respect for him.
Yeah, fine. I'm not on Deebo's team. What I'm saying is, if he does that, and I'm not going to praise the Niners when they make the playoffs and say, oh, well, like it's Deebo's fault. No, he told you he want to play for you. You held on to him and thinking that Kyle could work it out with him. That was crazy. You should have traded him. If you should have traded him. That's all I'm saying. Like if they can work it out, great. If Deebo's bluffing, great. If not, and they miss the playoffs because something weird happens with Deebo and he literally holds himself out after 6 games, that's on you. You told yourself you could work it out. You could have traded him on the draft night for any wide receiver in the draft and just moved on and had someone who was Trey's age and wanted to be here. But no, you thought you could work it out. That's all I'm saying. I'm not taking sides here. I'm just trying to predict how this is going to end up.
I agree with your last point.
Yeah.
I think it's a great point, and it shows, again, that you're smarter than I am. You're very smart.
I appreciate it. Look, do you think they'll work it out? Because John Lynch went on the radio yesterday and said he thinks he's going to work it out with Deebo. Of course, Deebo's not returning his calls, but
I think they're going to work it out.
Okay, good. That would be good. That would be a good step because so far this offseason has been kind of silly.
Now, wait. Hold on.
Go ahead.
And we do have a bet on that, and I want to make sure we understand. The bet is not whether or not he'll be on the team, but whether he'll sign an extension to play next season. That's the bet. Right. You're saying he may play, but no extension. Yes. I'm saying he'll sign an extension.
That is the bet. And we have another bet that we're going to talk about in a minute. Let's just take some comments real quick. Chardal says, hey, Grant, what are your Mother's Day plans? We don't have any yet. We will do something in honor of my mom, I'm sure. Thank you for asking. Ken Martin says, Samuel Womack in 2019 and 2021, he was second place with pass breaks up. In 2020, he was 7th place with most pass breakups. Okay, yeah. So the Niners drafted a corner in round 5 that wasn't invited to the combine. And none of like the draft gurus really knew who he was, but maybe he's good. Mike got the gun, said Deebo liked the post on Instagram, BR Gridiron on staying with the Niners. Sorry if you covered this already. I'm late. Okay, well, that's interesting information. Maybe Deebo Samuel is about to work it out with the 49ers. Jay says, if Deebo hates the Niners, why would Deebo make and wear a shirt that says Deebo is back with him in the Niners uniform during the draft? He actually made that shirt before the draft. That's why. He made it before the draft. I think the thing about Deebo is like he's profiting off this whole thing. His social media followers have doubled. He's selling shirts. He really needs money, Dad. He's selling merch. Some that says wide back, some that says Deebo's back. I think I'm gonna start selling merch too. Just saying. You want to buy a shirt?
I'll buy a shirt.